these major areas of general biochemistry, and these are areas that are very crucial. Okay, are very crucial in general biochemistry. We have cells and transport system, we have lipids, we have bioenergetics, we have nucleic acids, nucleosides, and nucleotides. All right, so we are going to be starting with cells and transport system. We're going to be beginning with cells and transport system. Cells and transport system. Okay, cells and transport system. All right, so when we talk about a cell, okay, so a cell is structural and functional unit of life. Is what we call a cell. Okay, so it is regarded as the building blocks through which all living organisms are formed. Okay, through which all living organisms, that's what is regarded as the building blocks through which all living organisms are formed. All right, so you know that the cell was discovered by Robert Hooke after the discovery of the microscope. Not long after the discovery of the microscope, where he took a cork and actually cut it into tiny pieces and observed it into under the microscope. That is, placed it on the slide under the microscope, and he noticed different compartments. He noticed different compartments which he called the cell. Okay, which he called the cell. So, as a matter of fact, that's what a cell is. So, in other words, a cell in itself is a living organism. Do you know why it's a living organism? Because it contains the fundamental molecules of life, as well as what we call membrane-bound organelles. Membrane-bound organelles. All right, membrane-bound organelles. So I want you to look at this definition and hold on to it. The fundamental, structural, and functional unit of life. Okay, you see, we also said that it is what the building blocks through which all living organisms are formed. Through which all living organisms are formed. All right, so it's very crucial to know also that the person who discovered the scientist who discovered the cell is known as Robert Hooke, and it was discovered after the discovery of the microscope. Okay, so basically we have membrane-bound organelles in a cell. That's why a cell is called a living organism as well. All right, so what are the types of cells? Okay, number one type of cell is what we call the eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells. Although we also have the plant and animal cells, but this is a broad definition or broad classification of cells. We have the eukaryotic cell, we have the prokaryotic cell, we have the prokaryotic cells. All right, so I'm going to be defining each of these two. What are eukaryotic cells? Eukaryotic cells are single-celled, okay, organisms. All right, single-celled organisms or multicellular organisms. It means that eukaryotic cells can be single-celled or multicellular. When we say multicellular, it means that it contains more than one cell. All right, whose cell contains a membrane-bound nucleus. All right, so those cells that are in organisms that have a membrane-bound nucleus or a well-defined nucleus, these are the cells that we call eukaryotic cells. All right, eukaryotic cells. Then prokaryotic cells are those cells that do not have membrane-bound nucleus. Membrane-bound nucleus. All right, membrane-bound nucleus. So, as a matter of fact, in simple terms, you can say that. Okay, that's the idea. All right, So now let's look at functions of a cell. Let's look at